here with the landlords and realtors, but taking that year discovery learning and experience learning and building relationships, we're gonna do things differently. So I just ask that you look at this meeting as a fresh start because we have recognized we gotta do a lot of things different moving forward. Not only to support you, but also support people that you rent to or that you sell to, and also the hopefully the potential growth coming in here with these businesses in a few years. As you all know, we're kind of behind on right now as far as available space for that workforce that will come in. So this is gonna be more of a question answer versus an update for myself and Mark because you got to start really thinking down the road about how to get prepared for that influx workforce and also how the few issues that we do have with some of the renters relationships, putting some things in place to make that better. And one thing with us that's going to help that out is once we change our systems up here, as far as our computer systems and payment plans and all that stuff, it's going to work wonders as far as how you pay for your water service. That's another whole conversation I'll talk to you about today. So once again, I just want to kind of start over this year, um, based off of some reflections from last year, some lessons learned about how to do things better and how to communicate better, and kind of go from there. So I will need some participation today as far as somebody say something. Don't want to sit here and kind of just wait. I know some of y'all got a lot to say, so just give everybody a chance to speak if we can. Once you make your point, and then we'll go from there. What you want to say anything? I think I covered it. Okay. Like I said, once again, thank you for all attending. We're gonna be more consistent this year about these meetings. I'm also maybe looking at doing it more than like maybe we're gonna do it more than once a month because lesson learned last year just ain't no way to stay consistent. If we just meeting once a month for conversation. So I don't know how it's gonna look as far as how often we meet. It might be a in face and then maybe a virtual for every subject. So um, we'll be doing town halls too, more virtual than in person. But like I said, I still want to get the commissioner here to kind of get your feedback and understanding some of the challenges better because maybe I don't articulate them well enough to make certain decisions. But we're gonna focus on this year making decisions and not kind of pushing down the road like it might appear that we do sometimes. So the one thing is to get the right information, you know, kind of integrate it, understand it, and then make a decision. And I'm gonna pause there because I do talk a lot at these meetings, and like I said, it's more of a question, answer, or a suggestion. If we could just stay on the topic of like property management, and then maybe growth, property management and growth. That's the main two things that we have got to figure out as a community this year. If you want Waycross to get back to where Waycross was not even 10 years ago, as far as population size and density. So I will pause there. Hope somebody was gonna jump in. Nobody. Let me. It's all go ahead, sir.
Well, the biggest issue I see in town, like a job problem.
Yes, sir.
So, available housing stock. Uh, what can we do to have some of this available housing stock be down sooner? I know you were on an agenda to actually get rid of some of the housing stock that's dilapidated, well and good. But is there any way to get rid of these older houses or houses that are being utilized in another method or manner that will put them back into the market and put them property taxes?
Let me say one thing, Mark. And Mark is such my expert on that. I do want to say, lesson learned from me last year. And I don't know how we're going to manage this, but we have a lot of people that buy houses unsight, unseen, and then they hold on to them, and then there's no communications, and it's been difficult to get these investors to like return phone calls, and then what I'm doing now, we are going to get one of them as fast as possible, but now it messes the relationship up because now they feel like I'm attacking them. But I say, sir, maybe had that house for like 10 years, and it is falling apart. We are trying to figure it out. If not gonna do anything with it, and city death can't buy it back. But to your point, I do think we got to figure out the mechanism to get other people in the city might want to buy those properties, let them know what's going on, the tax sales, all those things. We trying to figure that out too, how to get it pushed out, because for whatever reason, people don't seem to know what's going on. That's something we're working on.
So majority of them that we take to court are behind on taxes as well. And it's just one of those, nobody wants to buy them because they're dilapidated. And they're just in a bad condition. But we are looking at ways that we can, if somebody wants to get the property and they can show us that they have a plan, that we will work with them on helping them rehab that, or not help them, but working with them to do that. Because we do need houses. We don't want to tear down houses all over because, again, most of them that we take to court are behind on taxes already. And they sit there and they're already so far behind on taxes, they're not selling that tax sale because they already owe money. And then if we put a lien on it, and it's not just a problem in Waycross, it's nationwide. And that's something that the whole industry, we had 2 code officers go to Georgia Association of Code Enforcement training. And it's something that they're looking at nationwide of what we can do to try and do that. We're also looking, we're going to utilize the land bank, try and get it going, and utilize that some more. And then the biggest thing is just trying to get, like some of these guys that have rental property to help come on board and maybe get some of these properties and again, work with them to let them fix the houses up instead of tearing them down, because the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to need a ton of housing. So between that and just trying to get developers, which the city's pretty much built up, there's not a whole lot of vacant lots around. So obviously we're going to have to build in the county some, but if we can fix up the houses in the city, that's going to be great. And it's just going to take a concerted effort between us, developers, and things like that.
And in this passage, we bought a lot of houses back. I don't know.
Right.
I know y'all can't see it, and that's something like I said, we gotta figure out to make people visualize what's going on. Because I think when Shane's not here, he can't talk on it. But we had maybe 5 houses that the crane was there to knock it down that day, and working with the owner, they got in there and got the house back up to standing. So that was a great thing. Yes, sir.
So have y'all done anything to revamp your code section on what's it like 50%? You have to tear it
Yeah,
down.
so we're working with that. That's why I said if you can show us, because if you don't put that in there, it'll drag on and drag on and drag on. And that's just it's a state law, it's things in there. But if you can bring us a plan saying, here's where I've got my contractors ready, they've given me these quotes, here's where I've got the money, I'm ready to move forward. We'll work with you and say, all right, you've got 6-8 months to get it going. So yeah, we're working on that. Definitely. And that's what I was saying. We're working with the community to try and do that. We just need developers and property owners willing to help. And a lot of them are properties that are owned by people out of town. And it's just hard to get them to come in town and do anything. Or if we do tear it down, they'll pay the lien off, but then they sit on the vacant lot and it's just sitting there and we can't get it that way.
So I know we run into that same thing over there on Reed Street with the vacant lots next to my 703. They let it grow up.
Yep.
I think they're out of town. Can't hardly ever get a hold of
Can't
them.
ever get hold of them.
So they changed the owners not wanting to sell the properties then? Is that what you're saying?
No, there was a code section where if it's going to cost rehab, is going to be more than 50% of the value of the house, you had to tear the house down and start over. And that was, that's what we thought.
The state law. That's the state law.
Yeah.
And it's a standard, like I said, not just here, but everywhere.
What if
There were other standards that went with it. So there were other standards that went there.
But let me jump on that before we have a long conversation. I stand by that. We already started that. Somebody coming there with a plan, actually pull permits, we stand with you on that.
Yeah, if you're willing to put whatever it takes in the house to get it up to livable condition, then you should be.
Once we approved it, then they would sit on it and then nothing would ever come up and we'd have to start the whole process over again. And so we're doing it now. You come in with a plan, you show us here the contractors, the permits, and we give you a timeline. If it's not done, then we just keep it going that way.
Now, is that something that can be put in writing for a buyer? So as real estate agents, if I have a buyer who wants to purchase that they're not even gonna look at it unless I can have something in writing that will protect
Yeah, I mean, if they
me
come
or
to us and come with a plan, we can definitely do that.
do something in
Yep,
writing that says,
Yep.
hey, we're not gonna.
right.
And it is about building relationship. Like I said, we recognized last year, it turns people off by just sticking that hard thing. So let's learn by all of us. Like I said, we recognize the requirement for housing, for workforce housing, for our citizen housing, for our young people housing. Many of them don't qualify for the apartments right here because the apartments are, affordable housing or low income housing. You got to figure that out too, because a lot of our young people end up, they might work here, but they're gonna live somewhere else because they don't have a place to stay either. So and they can't buy houses yet. So we got to put all that in the mix and figure this out. But like I said, we on record right now. I stand by that. If they come in with a plan, we will help with that plan. I'm gonna tap dance a little, not tap dance, but just say something real fast. It happened yesterday. We had some projects downtown. The March team, we got to end up taking them to court. I called a whole year about these properties, multiple times. I had numbers personally, so I'm calling every now and then. Somebody answers the phone, and then we'll talk 2 seconds or whatever. But once we took them to court, they all came back this week. We did some walkthroughs. So I'm confident they're gonna keep their word this time downtown. If they don't, then we'll do what we gotta do as well. But I think it is kind of getting out that we are trying to work better. Not only with our citizens internally, but externally too. So I think it's getting out there. And when I travel and go places, at least that's part of my conversation too, because the cost of living here is quite low. So those individuals that have those remote jobs, 100% remote and stuff like that, this is a perfect scenario for them. All kind of ways. So we definitely got to reach out to that group of people. At the same time, like I said, I stand on my word, we're gonna do better by that type of code of ordinance that in the past might turn people off.
Where it counted.
Well, I mean, the admirers, when the admirers, the building there, when they first came, they said they were going to have 1,400 jobs. They haven't even broke ground yet, and they've already upped that to 1,900 jobs plus over 200 that they're bringing with them. Between that and some other job or industries that are coming that we can't discuss yet, we're gonna need a bunch, and it's gonna be. We obviously know we're not gonna keep them all in Waycross or Ware County. They're gonna move to some of the veteran communities, but that's the biggest problem that we see. And that when the industries come and talk to us or to the DWDA, that's the first thing they mention is where can my people live? And the realtors, I'm sure, the same way. So we're gonna need a lot.
Yes.
So there's nothing that says you can't have rentals anywhere.
She told me she didn't want it, her mission. So I had to tear down a perfectly good sixplex or few other few years ago. And I built 2 new houses, and they've been rented ever since, but I couldn't remodel good building that was there. She didn't want any rentals in her district. So I was just wondering if y'all had any kind of input with her. Let her know what they're gonna do. These rentals are gonna be needed in the next 5 years. That's the reason I asked you that question.
Yeah. I won't. We're not gonna speak on her thought process behind that, but what I will say, like initially, we had a lot of lessons learned this past year about a lot of stuff. So we all recognize, to include the commission, the growth is coming, and we got to do something right now. So they have the appetite to do this. It's my job to facilitate that, make them understand that. I've been trying my best behind the scenes. Some things y'all can't see. We talk about it in some of the meetings sometimes. I wish more people come to the meetings and kind of listen to some of the conversations. But I think we have moved past whatever happened 2, 3 years ago. I mean, like I said, everybody fully understands now, and not just the housing, but even the water capacity. A lot of things we got to start really getting. Should have started 2 years ago, but right now we got to start growing. So not speaking for her, but on her behalf, as well as the rest of the commissions, they all in. They fully understand, and not just rental property. We're talking about storefront properties. It's the other properties here that y'all know of. It's been sitting there for years that we're gonna either market, somebody gonna buy, we're gonna get rid of because we need that space. Can't just sit there for another 100 years. And that's also free land. So everybody's on board right now. So I can promise you that.
So maybe y'all can revisit the idea of some of the zoning in some of the areas as far as these duplexes and apartments go. I know we've looked at least 3 in the last couple of years that we was gonna look at buying. Once we found out that if the power gets cut off, if the water gets cut off, then it's not a duplex anymore. You know, we didn't buy it because of that. And we bought that place and kept it rented, but we just refused to buy it because that's just too big of a risk. And, you know, you can always say we put the water in our name, but it ain't always that simple. I mean,
You talking about you saying zoning or
Zoning.
the zoning is the problem.
There's a zoning that's RS single family, which covers a lot of Cherokee Heights, and there's some.
Okay.
So there's an existing duplex there, but if I buy that existing duplex, the tenant leaves the power off for 6 months, or the water off for 6 months, or the city leaves it off for 6 months, then he won't let me have it a duplex anymore. I've got to turn it into a single family home now instead of a duplex. Or I ain't saying you, I meant the zoning won't let me. But so that's a problem, and maybe y'all can revisit zoning. You know, I don't know, you know.
I
But that's the same
think
issue Russell has.
yeah. So I'm not sure if when we say zoning, we talking about smaller houses and areas and square foot size. We talking about that too.
No, I'm talking about that there's a duplex in that
That district, yeah.
and in that district, and now it's not zoned for duplexes.
Mhm.
And if anything gets cut off or if we have to do anything, then we have to change it into one house instead of our duplex. That we needed as a duplex to be able to afford the own it. So that's a problem. I mean, we'd have bought probably 3.
I know that's the case in Diane Hoffman area, but I don't know about any other.
We'll vote that down and forward this. We'll take that back.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's a zoning issue.
And if that was something moving forward, that even if not changing the zoning, that there was it's something that was existing, to be grandfathered in. I sold a house, a duplex in Cherokee Heights to a company who comes in, remodels, and they went overboard. They had lead-based paint remediation and asbestos remediation, so they went over and above. But during that project, the water was off for more than 6 months, and now it has to be a single family home. And they had already poured so much money into it to be forced to be a single family. So that's maybe something, if not rezoning, at least protecting, because as a realtor, it's difficult to say it's a good idea to buy this duplex in Cherokee.
Yeah,
Or in
I
those
agree.
areas.
Existing needs to be
Protected.
You ain't got to build new ones, but existing apartments need to be protected.
Well, you just couldn't cut back on the rental vacation. You can't do that. If like I was on vacation about, I could have made 6 different people out in the Oh, one more.
Okay, so we go. Yeah, I got you. But we're trying to get solutions. I feel you, but we're trying to get on solutions right now. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again. They all got the appetite right now. They all smart people. They recognize if we don't do something right now, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. When I say trouble, I mean we're gonna lose out on potential a lot of property tax and sales taxes because people spend money here if we don't start thinking about growth right now. So they all in. I promise you that. So I won't say everything on the table, but stuff in the past that we've, I guess, been wavering on won't be that way anymore. So, but even with that being said, like I'm glad y'all all came today. I'm gonna keep saying, y'all need to come to the commission meetings too. Uh, I'm pretty sure that some of the commissioners watching right now, but the other meetings that's on record, that's it's legality behind that. So I have asked right now this year that we get more participation at those meetings too. Those are great opportunities to really let the commission know what you think. Because I know y'all might see them in the street and talk. I don't know y'all relationship with everybody. I know sometimes I might be at Walmart and somebody might stop me. I'm gonna listen. Sometimes I try to write it down, but after that third person at Walmart, it get difficult. And I forget. And then that next person see me, hey, you let us down, Mr. Man. I told you this at Walmart 4 weeks ago. So at the meetings, it's recorded. It's written down. Some of y'all come to the meetings, y'all write stuff down too, get out to the citizens. It just ease on all of us. I mean, this is a great discussion for us. We actually write stuff down too. But come let your commissioners know. You know what I'm saying? Once they start their town halls here in the near future, you know, hopefully we get more participation than what we got when I first got here. And I know we had not been doing a lot of town halls prior to all that, but there is a goal this year is to do town halls, probably more virtual than in face, and talk to citizens. So I just ask you to participate in those town halls when they happen. And you can have them real honest conversations, but I just ask you to come with solutions. So if you got solutions, all means point fingers. But if you don't have solutions, let's just keep to ourselves. So, all right. And somebody was talking, I might cut you off. Did you get your point? Okay. No.
Not a lot.
Oh.
Somebody building a duplex isn't as great as somebody buying an existing one that they cannot continue if something happens with codes. Even in some instances, if your tenant reports you for your codes violations, you can then be brought in, even if your power and water wasn't on for 6 months. You could be forced to bring that up to current codes and standards, which is converting it to a single family home. So.
Well, in that situation, you wouldn't. If somebody was living there,
You would not.
you would not convert it into a single family.
Well, one of the questions is how do we speed up the transition to village housing?
That's what we're looking for, and that's why we're looking for y'all's help as well.
Waive all codes.
They'll all be fine next day. So, but to your point, sir. So we I wish what Shane he up there. I like to throw him underneath the bus, but some of our Shane's our building code inspector. He comes with ideas, and some of our other code enforcement when they go to training, other locations, they often come back and say, "Hey, look at this and look at that." So I have been looking at other ways the other cities do their zoning, do their taxes, tax houses, and also do their list for the demolition. Some of them have a whole board for that. It's like a citizen-led panel that does that. Y'all know we have the one lawyer that kind of does all that, and I'm looking at ways to make him with that position more efficient this next year. Like I say, lesson learned from last year. I could make a lot of excuses on with those 2 or 3 years. I guess we got behind on COVID, but that's no excuse, because that's it could have been done digitally. So we're gonna find a better way to move faster. I have moved the list around on what I deem priorities. The main eyesores, because as we mentioned earlier, business coming to town on those 4 major highways, they see certain homes. It's the same 8 homes. It's right here, and those same 8 homes are what they kind of judge the city on. So my goal now is to get rid of those homes. Either somebody do something with them on Corridor Z, the 2 up here on Ivy Davis. There's a couple more out here. So I did move them to the top of the list because I want to get rid of those because the whole world know about them. So I think once they're gone, at least that'll make that potential investor, okay, let me take this right turn now and come on down in the city because I don't see that big old yellow house on the corner there. So I think reprioritizing our houses might help us do better too. We were kind of just jumping around to when we got calls or whatever. And now making an actual prioritized list, and somebody will be deemed safety, like downtown, with those properties that get moved to the top of the list. When somebody get a brick fall hit somebody in the head, they're gonna sue somebody. It's not gonna be the city. So we gotta put them we will be the city, but and we'll let it happen that way. So that's why we put them to the top as well. So I think some of that will speed up some of the stuff. But the main thing, get more flexible with code, which we're trying to do right now, figure that out. Modernize our systems. As we get our new computer databases, we'll be able to get much faster too. Right now, y'all know we got old systems. Just it is what it is. So once we kind of get those in place, we better move faster as well. But at the same time, it still requires communications. Like I don't know, I just met y'all today, I guess, and I asked the realtors to kind of check in a little more often. Even with the tax homes, like it's easy to say go on with that Q Public, just go on Q Public and look at it, but it ain't that easy, for some citizens. So we got to figure out how to make that a little more known to those potential investors as well as yourself. So, like I said, we learned a lot of lessons this last year, and I'm I want to kill this dead horse real fast. The commission is all in. We gotta say no more about that. They fully recognize the growth coming here, and they're on board. I promise y'all that they're on board with the growth. You know, so what happened in the past? That's in the past. So let's work to a new future here with new solutions, with new ideas. You know, some of y'all born and raised here, of course, y'all got way more experience here and far more intelligent than myself on matters here. So let's work together and making this work. So we only got about 2 or 3 years right now before we're gonna miss that mark. You know. Yes, sir. So you can get a mic, sir. So they can hear you.
And I'm sorry I'm late. So I don't know if it's a free for all and you can just jump in. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. But I think, and this does deal with the past. And if this is being handled, it's fine. That's great. No need to. But I think one of the things that I'm hearing as a realtor here, my customers say, is when they meet with the city about what has to be done in order for us to pass, what they call pass with the city, is for the inspector to do it in one shot. And here's what I mean by that. It actually happened on a building that I give two examples. Is they came in and they gave some things, and I was like, some of these things, oh, I don't like this, but whatever, we're going to do it. You gave us the list, we're going to do it. But then they had to come back and reinspect. And then when they came back and reinspected my building, they told me that the building, the door to get into that commercial building was too hard for citizens to use. Well, brother, that's the same door that you walked in 8 days ago when you wrote me up. And so the problem is then you never know when you're going to pass, because when they come back to reinspect the door, they can find one more thing. I had my handyman in there to do the original work, and he charges me. He could just have easily have worked on that door the first time that he came to do the work. So if you're going to give us a list of things to do, give us a list of things to do. Don't keep coming back every 8 days, finding one more thing for me to do. That's disingenuous. The second thing is the neighbor behind my personal business for 28 to 32 months had a recliner on top of their roof. All right. I'm fine with that. Knock yourself out. But you're writing up my customer, my client, because he had pine straw in the valley of his roof. If we're allowing, let's have some consistency. If recliners on tops of roof, not a problem. Let's not write up people that have pine straw in the valley. Or before we write up people that have pine straw in the valley of the roof, let's get recliners. So, and people will say, well, how do you go about just common sense and consistency? Because in Cherokee Heights, when you write my client up for having pine straw in the valley of the roof, 24 hours later, after we got the pine straw down, paid somebody $50 to do it. 24 hours later, we were back out of. That's not common sense. Now, if a house's roof was weighted with wet pine straw, inches and inches, and had not been tended to for years and years and years, that's the purpose of that code, not pine straw in the valley of a roof. And so just having some, and I hope what you're saying today is, Clay, those are the days of yesteryear. That's not happening anymore. And if so, I'm excited about that and disregard my comments. Then the last thing is I want to make sure that, so I met with the mayor personally in a one-on-one meeting and said, I want to give you one suggestion, but here's all I ask. If you hate my suggestion, you come back to me and you tell me you hate my suggestion. If it doesn't work logistically, come back and tell me it doesn't work logistically. If it's something you can't do because of processes and technology, come back and tell me that. The only thing that I ask is that you not stay silent. So to be fair, I didn't give him a time limit, but that was 2.5 years ago. So either he's still working on it, but all we ask for is for many people that own lots of property, can the water department do a bundled type where they have me in the system so that when I come in, it's what SRSWA does. And so, so they're like, yeah, but with that, we'd probably need a larger deposit. Knock yourself out. Give me a larger deposit. don't make me fill out 6 forms every time I start a new house with you, because none of my information has changed. No different than my dentist office, my doctor's office, all that kind of stuff. And I said, could we have one? What do we call it? What does SRSWA call it when you have the one account, a master account? Can you give me one master account? And then if none of my information's changed, just put my addresses underneath it so that we can make this an efficient place to do business, just like in and out. I know it can be done because right across town at Albany Avenue, they got us. I give them an address, whatever deposit you want to make me, give me that deposit. I'm happy to pay it. And it'll make things more efficient. Now, there could be logistical reasons why that can't happen within your systems, but I've not heard that. I've not gotten any response. So that would be a suggestion that we have given, and I've had no response for. And it could be because it's a horrible idea. I'm fine with that. Come back and explain to me this is why that doesn't work.
So two things. I go back to the Walmart conversation. So I'm pretty sure the mayor had all intent to speak with you, but he has probably like 10 meetings a week with citizens. So I said, right in that seat. Oh yeah, I remember based. Yes. Yeah. So I just asked in those situations, just come back. I'm gonna say me too. I'm out here walking around. I'm gonna listen, but if I ain't writing it down, I come back in this office, it gets difficult. So to anybody, just come follow up. I try my best to follow up, especially if I'm in the office, or I have my notepad to write stuff down. I don't think there's a reason why we can't do a massive list, right? Yeah. So that's something we probably gonna start it right now because we get a new software update and a new system. So once that it's gonna take about 18 months to get it fully established. But once that gets put in play, we should be able to really turn stuff around. So we're working that now, implementation wise. To make sure you hit all your points.
Going back and forth.
Oh yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. So I know y'all can't see this. I mean, so I'm gonna say something y'all can't see it, so it ain't true yet. But we are gonna do it the first time inspection. It's the gold standard. I got a 90-day go. That's my new mark, 90 days. Also, why we can't do it 90 days. If the renter, business owner be consistent too. Because I want to start throwing stones in, but a lot of cases, everybody don't be sincere on what they're doing either. Now I know we're at a time right now with inflation and the rising costs, all that stuff, but we gotta be honest on both sides. So my learning lesson from last year, about half of the time when we had these issues, it was on the other side too, if you understand that. So, but the goal study is moving forward, 90 days. They'll come do that first inspection, that be the big inspection where we do everything, and we want to try to be consistent with code, and everybody the same way. There may be certain scenarios where your building is made different, why it may be a little different, but to do everything, and then hence when y'all completed that list, they'll come back for that midpoint inspection. Just to make sure you in the right, area. And then that final inspection. So it's really like we're trying to do those kind of 3 inspections and stay that way. So, but it should not change anymore. If I come for that first one, it should not be different for that midpoint. The midpoint makes sure you stay consistent. Like I said, sometimes the investor's not consistent and they change things from the initial inspection, which hence changes how the code inspector sees stuff. So use your door example, just because you said the door. Sometimes we come in there and do all that and don't say anything about the door. When you come back, it's a bigger door, and now I see it. So I'm saying we gotta keep that in consideration. So now it is a bigger door. So now I do have to look at it. Can you understand that part of it?
Not my situation.
Yeah. So that's what that often happens. So I don't think at the time I'm gonna stand by my people. I don't think they purposely go in there because I be on them too about it. We don't want to keep wasting time going back and forth. And a lot of times it is because something was changed. But once again, we recognize because of the cost of materials, stuff like that, just let us know. Hey, you call Mark, or the big doors is more expensive right now, so I get a little door. Some things we can do, together, and that way we don't keep. When I do come down there, when they come down there, it ain't a big old surprise, man. If that makes sense. But I appreciate your points. I recognize everything you just said. So and like I said, that's our standard moving forward. We're gonna try our best, because I really feel like we might need to, and looking to get an additional, code inspector, because it's gonna be a lot for Shane to do, and Mark jumps in there a little bit every now and then too. But in a couple of years, when everything starts hitting on a certain business we can't talk about right now, we're gonna need more people out here doing it. So we're gonna have to figure it out as well. So that answers some of your questions, sir. And with the mayor, just after you let me know what that question was, and I'll try to address that again if you can. Okay.
On the new technology that y'all are implementing, is there a way that technology would have it where we could set us up a owner portal like Georgia Power has now with property managers and realtors?
Yeah, so it's if you guys want to look it up, it's Tyler Technology. You can Google them, but yes, to my understanding, there's a way you can go in, pay your bills, master account. You can also see where your code inspection, how it's moving through the ladder. So if you wonder why is it stuck at Patrick's desk, you can call and say, Patrick, why is it stuck at your desk? Things like that. So yes, it'll be a lot user friendly. And Tyler Technology. Right. TYLER. But like Mr. Rayford said, it's going to take about 16 because we got to convert all of our other systems. And the system we're using now is very old. I think they've had 30 years. So it's going to be a big conversion. So it's going to take several months to get it going. But one of the things we're going to launch right away will be they have an app, a lot better than the app we currently have. But this app, you'll be able to go in, like I say, and pay your bill. You get notifications that your bill, like which help some of your tenants that your bill is due today. They can use Apple Pay, Venmo, all of those things to pay those bills. So we've already started. We started the early phases, so we're conversing now with Tyler to identify key people that needs to be in the conversion process, and then we'll start identifying files to be converted and things like that. But we'll keep you posted. As soon as the app is launched, we'll send that out and let you guys know about it.
This is one of the major drivers going to help us, like modernization, help us catch up with this technology. Right now, we can't even communicate. Like I'm transparent as I can be. We can't communicate with ESG sometimes. Y'all know ESG is, I think, what y'all do because yes, engineer, yeah. So
That's our water and sewer.
water and sewer, yeah. So like I say, lessons learned about just our technology was so outdated. It was causing a lot of issues. So that was the main focus of the commission. They charged me to go out there and find a better system. We found one. Everything will be connected. All our systems will be connected. Talking to each other. And like I said, it'll be a more interactive portal for our citizens. So just the ability to pay in different ways is gonna do a lot. So I'm very hopeful of this system. I did look at a few other cities who already have it in place. They are doing extremely well. It'll bring us more into line with the Georgia Power, how they do this kind of sort of. So that's gonna be a great tool as well. Like so unfortunately, we're some months away. It's gonna be stages of implementation put in there. And Mr. Simmons, he's my he's also our IT director. He decided to do that stage. We're getting the app in first, and then we'll do other things. The work order process, I think, is next, maybe. And then the bill pay is next. And then the work order process, and then kind of go from there. So this time next year, there should be no issues about any of that stuff. So
Absolutely. See, you love the way Los Angeles does it. Let us know. We can implement that with our city.
and back to the I'm going to mention now. Back to the inspection thing. We're gonna get to a point because I did notice this. We want to be consistent with those 3 inspections. So we're say 90 days. First inspection, ideally the next 30 days later we should have another inspection. Maybe we want to get to that point so we're not like you calling us on a day when we have 4 inspections lined up because you got your stuff together today, and now we can't get out there and everybody frustrated. So we want to kind of make sure we stick within that window, that time frame. And we ain't there yet right now, but we're gonna make it where we kind of put those projected dates in there from that first inspection. Does everybody kind of understand that? Because like I said, we got one person really, and Mark, so 1.5 really, but hope we get somebody else kind of come on board, and then we're consistent. Yes, ma'am.
Follow up to that, is there flexibility in some of those timelines? Because I know a lot of our contractors are like 2 weeks out before they can even start.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What we don't want to do is go months in between,
Right.
and then you call and
Yeah.
you go like, hey, if I don't do this today, because cement man gonna raise cement to $4 tomorrow,
Right.
and then we won't get out there today because we got
Sure.
stuff going on. Everybody mad at everybody, and I recognize we all got to do a better job of tracking all that stuff. I think too, and I hate to keep saying it, our systems are so old, that we just didn't have the capability to do that.
Sure.
So once we have the capability, it should be an issue because there should be some automated generated stuff to go to you. Hey, what's
Yeah.
the status type thing?
Right.
Hope that happens even with the app. I think we'll be able to talk better through the app.
Right.
The text feature. So, because like I said, we recognize the cost of materials. That I know that's time and money for y'all on
Sure.
a lot of stuff. So we're gonna do a better job ourselves. And with the other piece of that, like I probably do need to hire an additional person just to get that double the workload. So we recognize that too.
Right.
So if I can, our permits for when contractors get permits, our inspections will still be the same. They'll call in. This is more of a making sure, all right, we started the project in 3 months. We haven't received a call. We would go out and say, all right, where are we standing on this? Just to get an update so that we're aware of what's going on and to keep the owners or contractors, whatever, on track and helping as well.
And I asked too, lesson learned again, even with some of these contractors, they have not been consistent either. So everybody got to play their part.
Right.
We trying to work with them, they got to work with us too. A lot of times, because Mark team will end up talking to the contractor directly, which we're gonna stop doing too. But sometimes we have to because like, hey, just some of the houses again. If the house is up for demolition and the contractor ain't pulled the permits in like 8 months, and the owner don't know, especially out of town, who's gonna figure this out? And then we kind of go overboard sometimes, and then well, they ain't paid me last week, and it's this and that and this and that, and we throwing stones again, and then we waste a lot of time in between them. We should have figured all this out probably like 6 months earlier.
Okay. And can y'all give us an update on the industries that you can talk about, like groundbreaking dates and timelines of what you know and what you can release?
Uh,
Like groundbreaking. Do we know when?
What I'm going to, because that's a great question. You want to answer that or a formative answer. I'm going to get with my development authority, county and the city. I'm going to make that. We actually talked about that at the last meeting because I told them I'm having a hard time every time I keep saying 2027 and just because they're the only business coming in, and people want to believe and they want to trust it, but if you can't see it, then y'all just talking again. So I'm gonna figure out a better way. Even my city report knows confused sometimes because it might be some stuff on there. Just ain't always transparent because I can't say the business name, without certain reasons. But I'm gonna figure that out this year. Because I think I'm thinking right now, just top of my head, I do want to go around, even just showing everybody all the sites. I think we can just show we got like 22 sites of they're already being moved. That should say a lot right there because that means the investment's already started.
Right.
But I know everybody needs, pen and paper, need actual names. I'm gonna check with those the president of those boards, just see how we can do that because I know that's very important right now for transparency. And hopefully, as time get closer, we can just start dropping dimes and everybody can see. But I fully understand, of course. I have to get back to you on that though. Okay.
And then one last question, and it's mostly a point or a question and a point. There is a House bill that's being proposed about squatters, and it's come out today in my email. And so, for those of you who may not know about it, it's House Bill 1017. Russ Goodman is the senator who's our district person. If you'd like to reach out to him, but they're asking us to support it, to vote yes with no amendments so that it goes forward to the governor for signing, which will get squatters out of properties faster and less paperwork and red tape. What is y'all's stance on squatting now within the city? What can we do, not do, things like that?
Let me do another point real fast.
Okay.
So we do have a homeless population. I don't know if that's the same population as the squatters, or it's the gang members, or the drug dealers. And I will say that because we got a huge problem right now. I just had the forum to talk about that. Um, Commission gave me guidance kind of before we start. I'll speak on it, but we got to put a plan in place. We know right now we have my inventory, my team's inventory, about 75 homeless people, consistent homeless people. Y'all know got the large population behind Lowe's in that area and Walmart back in those areas. We got another small population still beneath the bridge, the Black Shield Bridge, and we got a downtown population. I know y'all saw the people coming in here probably um, in some of the parks. So what we don't have information on is the number of homeless people living in abandoned homes. We have not yet to get that data. I know we have some, but I do think that's different from some of the homes being utilized by the gangs. And I don't think either group is like a squatter person. I don't think I'm gonna let me know in a minute. I don't think we have a squatter problem here. We do have a homeless problem here, like everywhere else in the country, and we do have some individuals doing stuff we don't want to be doing. Your police force is doing a great job of addressing some of the gang stuff. And I hate that I can't talk about it like I need to because the investigation going on. But you all are free to go up there to the police station and talk to the police chief and get some one-on-one because I really want people to understand we are 100% into trying to get rid of all that stuff. Back to the homeless, and this is something that we trying to figure out as well. Because I know it probably is some homeless in some of y'all properties that did not boarded up, whatever reason, or they get in and stuff like that. So I think there might be a bigger problem. I'm trying to because I want to put that in there. That might be a bigger problem in like squatter stuff. I think when we look at squatters, I'm gonna pass over to Mark. We have a problem when something's not being done in the rentee's opinion. Some issue with the home, i.e., I'm not paying the rent no more because you have not come fix the big door thing or something. This example. So I think that might be where we classify a squatter maybe because it might be 3 or 4 months that goes on, and if you don't do the eviction process, then it might turn into something like that. So I'm gonna let Mark talk on that, but I just want to touch on the homeless briefly because I know we have an issue with the homeless. And with that, we're gonna try to do some things differently. As far as getting them out of these cities, because we do have certain places for them to stay. And then as many of y'all know, a large population or portion of that population don't want help. The good will be under the bridge and all that stuff. They can't stay in the parks anymore. And I'm trying to figure that out. But we're trying to get them options, trying to help them make their appointments so they get off these wait lists and help them get the medical. We got people helping them out, but a lot of times they just can't find them, can't contact them, or like I said, they won't be helped. But I pass on the Mark about those certain tenant issues we had that might be considered squatters.
So we've got some that'll call in for code violations. One of the first things we always ask, and we all have always asked, is, are you up to date on rent? Because we know if we go, if they're not up to date on rent, we tell them if we go, they have every right to evict. And if they still want us to come out, we still do that. And then that's, between y'all and them on getting rent or getting them evicted. As far as the other squatters, we haven't heard of a lot. We've seen a few. We had one over on Brown's Alley. And it's mostly the houses that are older, that are unboarded, that they're open, or that maybe they're up for sale or just vacant for a while. And they come in that way. And again, most of that would go to the police department because it goes through, if the realtor has the property, they go in and see somebody living there, then they call 911. But it is becoming a problem nationwide as far as squatters. And the fake deeds, and this new bill is going to be very beneficial, and it's one of the leading in the country as making, if you have a fake lease, then it could be a felony. So Georgia's moving forward and being proactive in that, so that's going to help. But as far as what we've had a couple, like I said, that we found squatters, and we try to notify the owner, hey, you need to come board this up. As far as the rentals, we don't know because that kind of goes, y'all call 911 when somebody's in your house.
think we have more trouble with our empty properties and homeless or just people in general going in a house and
Mhm.
setting up camp.
Yep.
And then it becomes a safety issue. So I go in houses all the time by myself. You know, she's got one, I think, we're dealing with today. We went in and we beat on the door to make sure that they weren't in there when we went in there. It becomes a safety issue.
Right.
So I'm seeing more homeless, people just choosing to make that decision to go set up camp in an empty house. So
Right.
definitely-
Yeah, and I think this bill will help address vandalize it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some where they've changed the door locks and everything else. Yeah. So, but yeah, and this is, you know, we've got to have help at state level and national level, and this is the right first start. So I wouldn't highly recommend voting for this or getting them to vote for it.
There's already a bill, I mean, a law, Georgia law on squatters. Basically, if you find somebody in your place and they won't get out, and you have to go through the eviction, you can actually sign an affidavit before the sheriff.
Mhm.
And say that I'm the legal owner of that property and they don't have any rights to be there. The sheriff has to go make them leave. Now, if they get there and the person in the house signs their own affidavit, saying I do have rights to this property, then the sheriff has to back off. And it goes to Superior Court. I think what this bill is gonna probably do is streamline it and put it through magistrate court instead of through the Superior Court, so everything will move faster. So there already is a law in place to take care of that, as long as the squatter don't know his side
They
of the
have
law.
to pass one. But this one also says that it can be, removed by physical force
Yep.
this time. That's one of
Well,
the things.
well, this one does too. This one does too, as long as the squatter doesn't sign his own affidavit saying that he has rights to the property.
I was saying in Atlanta, there's companies like when realtors and all put them on Facebook or on their websites, that's available to buy or to rent. They'll move in and there's companies that are looking at these places and creating fake leases. And that's just, there's not been much enforcement on that. And the state is now looking at making those felonies.
And law enforcement's always been scared to move forward because it could be a landlord tenant situation and the landlord should just say, hey, I don't know when I want them out. You know, I know that probably does happen, but you know, that's why you have to sign the affidavit. I reckon you could get in legal trouble by signing the affidavit saying, I don't know who they are and they shouldn't be here. Right. And then later to find out you lied, and you know, I think the streamlining of that's gonna move the magistrate court where you can do it a little quicker.
I think James Burchett, which is also one of our local, was one of the co-signers that offered the bills.
And even with that, when you do the evictions, I just ask you, let us know. 'Cause a lot of times, you know, we can work to this, or it goes back to the vacancy inspection, all that stuff. You don't know sometimes, like you're trying to get rid of somebody, the wall get cut off, but if you do let us know, we can kind of work better with the cutoff or the cut on for the next person. So all you gotta do is call down and say, Mr. Raper is not paying the bill, I'm trying to get rid of him, and she's not looking at me right now, but Nancy will work with you at that point in time. Yeah.
And I think we've done a better job working with the landlords. If we get a complaint, instead of going out, we call the landlords, give them time to make the correction, unless it's a life safety issue. And trying to work it that way. And I think that's worked well. I know I've spoken with Mr. Russell before and he's gotten the problem fixed. I think y'all have had that, Mr. Dixon. So I think we're doing a better job of doing that, trying to do that, to give 48 hours for you to correct the problem before we go out. So we are working to help with some of that, because we see that sometimes, probably 90% of the time, the problem is caused by a tenant or something. So
And a lot of people do the same thing with their early growing vegetation. Instead of taking kids, send the threats and then we pick up the phone and say, Rosie, you need to cut grass. Give it address, we be done. That simplify, save the city money for all that stuff.
right. And we're looking at different ways to address that. One is by contacting, but two, if it's problem areas or if it's ones that are overgrown, and not saying yours, but we get ignored. And if we have to take it to court, if we don't have where we've sent letters, then we have to start the whole process over. So there's certain things that we have to do so that we can show that it goes to that point that we're covered.
Let me ask. has the city got anything in place? And y'all do anything about these CSX blockers ever calling? So that's a big problem we got in Waycross.
We've got the two
You
overpasses.
try to can't get, as you like.
Yes, so we've got the two overpasses. The one on State Streets, the GDOT's putting in is moving pretty quick. They're buying the land that's necessary, getting all that worked out, so that should move pretty quick. And then the one on Albany Avenue, is still in the planning stages, but that was through the T-Splosh, and that was a city-county joint effort. So we'll have two overpasses, and that'll help alleviate a bunch of that.
Oh, yeah, is that gonna happen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's mandatory because it was on the splosh, so it's mandatory to.
I think we got a joint update plan. I want to say in May, because I've been talking to the county manager about that. Transparent, we have a few issues out there. We're trying to work through right now, and it's important to work through those issues early on with the train company. And once we figure that piece out, we'll move a little bit faster. So we'll never. That probably the only thing we ever do is do those two additional bypasses because it's just too many train tracks here. I know I saw somebody today run through the intersection, and I get worried. I see that more often now. So it's just like, I like to say that we have to be mindful how fast the trains, once they get going, they cannot stop. And even then I said it yesterday at our meeting yesterday, even our crosswalks, this is about safety since you brought it up, sir. The crosswalks, the individual in the crosswalk has priority over the vehicle. So I don't know what's going on with Waycross, but everybody keep just running through the crosswalks and people's in it. We gotta do better. We gotta do better by each other, especially downtown. I don't have the lights put in play down there yet for all the crosswalks. We're gonna get there, but need a little bit of help with that. So safety need to be like first for everybody. So as we talk about the trains, even some of our citizens, they have got to start either stopping for the crosswalk. Got to stop for it. Definitely when somebody's already in the street. I saw that yesterday. The person just stopped in the middle and rolled around. So I don't know if it's not out there. Anybody got public knowledge how that works? Well, I'm gonna start every conversation I have. I'm gonna bring that up. But one more point too. Like I said, I can't talk about ongoing investigation in some of these homes, but y'all all free to go up to the police station and talk with the police chief, especially for some of your homes. He can let you know then. I just can't put it out in the public forum. But I know that's very important. And like I said, we got a lot of investigations going on. This is more towards some of the gangs that have took over some of the homes. So just go up there and make an appointment. If he's there, he's gonna stop and talk to you. But if he's not, just make an appointment with him. They'll come back with you and follow up.
Does anybody have trouble with people taking their houses and putting them on Facebook? Yes, consistently. And that's very dangerous. And the police have not supported us at all with that. We have went out and had signs made. And so I don't know if you have
What y'all mean? Put them on Facebook.
So what would happen is, and this is a very common scam, is if I have a house listed for sale, or maybe she has a house listed for rent legitimately, they will take your photos from it, post their own stuff on Craigslist, Facebook, and things like that. So if it's a place that should rent for $1,200, they put it on for $500. Then they get people to go ahead and pay. Hey, you need to go and pay that $500. So this is when it rents for $1,200. But it's my meemaw's house and we're trying to rent it out. They're paying that money. They have actually even met people over at the house. I have called the police department repeatedly. Had one that it showed vacant in the photos because I had previous photos. There were actually people living in the home. The person that rented the house felt like they had every right to go up to that house and into the house. The people living there were active. They were in their backyard. So both parties felt like they had a right to be. They did, as far as what they understood, did. I explained to the police people that, someone's going to end up getting shot. Like something really does have to happen. Both parties feel like they have a right to be where they're at. And they were like, it's nothing we can't control that. That's something online. We can't track it. I thought, well, they're meeting people in town and getting keys. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Consistent.
Right. And I'm not sure if this law will address that as far as the fake fake leases and fake deeds and stuff, that it could be part of
Could be
that as
something
well,
like that.
because it's basically the same thing.
It is.
So it's more than likely covered in that bill. I hadn't read the full thing, and so, but it sounds like it would fit under that.
How
And
do you get the
that's great,
keys
but
though?
police, that's still a danger. Like, we even had a person go in, we had a property rented, listed for lease at our office. It had not rented, so the property manager went over to check it out just to put his own thing. And there was a person living in there. So knock on the door. This poor girl who had moved here from Texas met a person there, signed a lease. The guy said he had broken into the house. He gave her a whole box of new doorknobs and said, I always recommend you change these out. So here's your new doorknobs, because he didn't have a key. And this poor girl had spent $6,000 and paid her rent up front to find out that, that person's gone.
That's right. That would definitely fall under that part.
But she wasn't in
Right.
and that I get
And
what
I
you're
think it's
saying.
partly too to protect those that don't know, because a lot of times they don't know they're signing the fake lease, and I mean they're just meeting somebody there. They've got keys because at some point they've already changed the locks and they hand them the keys. So it's to protect the home and the public also. So
Classic.
Yes,
We not see that with the water turn on. I mean, we not.
they could come up with a lease. They've got a signed lease.
Producing that fake lease to me, even for girls, and they're turning the water off.
And we're trying to catch them, like, you'd be surprised, we watch out for it now, like she said, we have multiple times made that we put in yards now. The second our sellers have called and said, hey, our house is on Facebook for rent, we just go see this house is not for rent.
Because they're meeting them, the person, whoever it is, meets them locally in the yard, says you have to pay, I'll get you the key later. Like, here's the house, this is where we're at. And I'll, you go ahead and pay me, I'm gonna give you the key. And so those people, those are spending thousands of dollars. The last one that happened to me, I know I had people just start calling, like, tell me so I can get all this information to the police, because this is, one, it's dangerous, but two, it's just taking advantage of people that do not have the money. And I believe on that one, $7,200 have been paid to those people over a matter of before we could get it stopped. And I reached out, I did everything I possibly did. And
So the first one.
So it's,
Well, mine was in the county on Dorothy Street. And then I even had the seller call and make a report. Like, it's happening in the city and the county, they're considered. It's a lot more frequent than you could.
I think public awareness is the only way to, any solution to it, because even if they don't meet them, they can do everything online now. I can do your tax return online and never meet you. You consider everything to you like documents. So they're still gonna do it, they're gonna do it from the foreign country. So really making the public aware, you need to find out who's the real owner of that place and maybe get to City Hall on the water or Satilla Regional. There's only, public awareness is the only thing that'll fix it.
And I try when I'm on Facebook looking.
Or to come to the house.
Right.
Yeah. That's, think the police should probably be pretty proactive.
There's an occupied property and a tenant who feels like they have a right to be in it because they just paid $3,000.
Yeah. I'll get with Chief Cox to see where on that. I'm not sure what he's doing on that game. So
this scam is in full swing, 20 weeks for California.
It's,
Right, it's cold where you got to do, one, if you think about putting some kind of, security camera, then well, that's at least the images. Because if you got a policeman that walks up, they've got a police cell, they've got police feet, he's not gonna be able to do anything. Because it's a contract dispute.
One thing that I figured out is if you're putting signs in your yards, for rent signs, or if you're not putting a for rent sign, that you do put a for rent sign in your yard. Because I've had various people try to see the scam and they're starting the process and they're like, well, ride by there before I sign or spend the money. And then they send my sign. It's like, wait a minute, that's not who I'm dealing with. So they call our office and it's like, do not mess with that person. That's a scam. blah, blah, blah. So for those of you who may not be putting the signs out, you may definitely want to do that, because that will save some time with the scam.
And maybe something where you talk to the neighbors, if they're pretty close, and say, hey, you know, if you see somebody, call and say, hey, have y'all rented it? And do it that way, maybe.
And we haven't had as many people actually get moved into a property, that being an issue,
Just
that's been
before.
very few. It's just that citizen has spent all of this money for it to be a boat, you know.
And I can see when these businesses start coming in, that could be targeting the yes, we might have a serious problem there. Okay, anybody got whatever a little bit, but we'll keep going. We need to.
Mark, what's your proposed set point for the end of all of this?
We're trying as hard as we can go. Like I said, we're utilizing the land bank. We've got a new ordinance, well, I'll say it's a couple of years about, ones that are paying property taxes that might just be overgrown. They're not to the point of unsafe or being torn down. And it's becoming a big ordinance throughout the state where we can increase the taxes 7 times. So if your taxes are $100, we can increase it to $700 until you fix that house. But once you fix the issues and do all of that, then we give you a reduction on taxes for so many years. So it's an incentive to try and do that. So we're looking at that and using that. So hopefully these new tools, and again, just trying to get help at the state level to help pass some laws, especially with the out of town property owners and heir properties that there's, you know, grandma and grandpa died and didn't leave the house anybody, and it's just the 300 different people. We've got to have some help.
Is there any way some of the property that's up for rent, the taxes that are on the, even just the land, is more than the lot's worth?
Somebody would do. It's the backlog.
You're talking about backlog taxes or?
Tax bill.
Yeah, so tax sale.
And they're asking for more than the property's worth in back tax.
That's right.
You're not gonna pay.
And that's why when they have tax sales, and I know, I think most of y'all have been to tax sales, if it's more than what the property's worth, most of the time it doesn't sell the tax sale. And it just keeps going, and that's the problem we're having, and that's what we're trying to figure out.
And there's nothing you can do with it because property doesn't have more than a 50-foot frontage. And it's the same thing grows up.
Well, you got them candidates and interests, you know, all the time.
Yes.
They'll have to rent some in the village talking to Roger. He didn't have more tax sales, that's him. Instead of having 1 or 2 a year. Maybe he got 8 pages in the paper when he had.
That's a good idea.
8 pages is what stuff.
I'm not sure how that works. I'm sure they can have them as often as they want to, but I'm not sure if there's a mandatory number they have to have per year.
Oh, it's not mandatory.
Right.
Least, like I said,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
more often.
Foreclosure.
Yeah, I think that's the foreclosure. That's foreclosure.
But still, he could do more. I mean, I think he trying.
He had courthouse, and they were between 1 and 2 in the apartments each day. They were going in foreclosures. So Roger can sell it up to state that wants. It's a shame pushing it.
Like I said, let's learn last year, so we're gonna make a lot of changes now from last year. But the big goal is to get the houses we have, get the capacity up, so when the business come here, they can have somewhere to stay.
That's the further enforcement spend, we're gonna feel that pressure. And these federal houses, they want to clean them up, right? Send things out and then issue the bill, and then work some kind of discount. Dollar sale, if you'll do something within a year, to get it back into the market.
What can we do as property managers, owners, landlords, everything under our hat that would help y'all, whether it's clean up, I know we're having the April
Yeah.
cleanup thing, so tell us about that or what any suggestions that we can do. If we're more invested than most people, and we want to see every property flourish, so what can we do to help y'all?
I think just the communication, just we're gonna be consistent. Like I said, we're gonna commit to more than one meeting a month. I think we need to have Roger here too. Now I'm thinking about it, so we'll get him come for that one too, and we'll probably, I try to invite. Y'all see, I work in the county too. I try to invite my counterpart. I'm gonna start reach out to him because we want to be more consistent with each other from county to city too. I know it's a problem still. I think the communication, let us know, what we doing good, what we doing bad, the door too big. I mean, let us know so we can figure these things out because sometimes we do not know, and then also gives us a chance to kind of explain some of the things we said. And like I said, the part of that would be for us to have. I know everybody tired of meetings, but got to talk some kind of with each other. I mean, so that's the first point, and then I think once we get our software established, so we can have more capacity, let everybody buy into that, and like kind of get up here. And it goes back to the questions of putting everything on one account. I just feel like I've seen the realtors do that. It seems to work better than the ones that have, and they got 30 people, and 30 people got a bill, and it's always seems to be an issue with that. The individuals, like some of y'all got it, was all one account, and we seem to be able to seem to be smooth, but it might be a software issue, and that might not be a problem once we get the new software. But I think it's just communication. So you got it.
Yeah, I think an example of somebody. Here's what's about, here's why I may not work. I'm just communicating.
No, it's yeah, exactly communication.
It's not. Yeah, I think, everybody, this is a stop line. But there's not these items. There's more, here's the things. Kind of talking about. Reds, we can't do on this right now. And report, here's the reason. It's green, that means we've done. We've accomplished. It's yellow, you're working on it, this will go up. Because if not, I feel like sometimes these meetings have a lot of good intention. That we don't hold each other accountable because it's not, I'm not saying we're not taking notes, but that we were working on a stoplight report. All under the same, the first of every meeting, sorry, let's go to this stoplight.
Yeah.
If there's a service here, if your suggestion, we need to get back to you on that. The reason we're not able to do this at this time is such that we can't do it. If not, I think we're just gonna have a lot of good dialogue, not hold each other accountable.
Are we gonna put this on our YouTube channel? Yeah, so great point. I think one thing what I've learned this last year, like we didn't. Sometimes we do live streams. We have like comments coming in, but once we get back to putting it out there where it stays out there, people make further comments. They'll come back and maybe watch it later on. So I got a year worth of comments myself, notes and all that stuff. So I'm going through it now. I mean, I'm almost done, but so it is planned over the public, and I'm trying to do that in different forms. Some of this is connected, like the codes, and this being they kind of almost connected at the same time. We all got a lot of ordinances, not a lot. We got a few ordinances that we're going to change. We already identified that need to be changed, updated, modified. So I'm going to put that in play pretty soon. But communication. So we get that, and we will. I like what you said, red light, green light, but I will follow up with something similar to that. It might not be that, but we all work. Yeah. So, but great comment. Yeah, I guess we talk about April cleanup. I mean, everybody understand how that works. Just curious. The cleanup for April. Yeah. So we're gonna do a little bit different this year. So we're gonna put the bins out there. Same thing we did last year out there in East Park, in East District. We're looking for volunteers to help with a few areas. So one, we have a lot of more senior citizens or a population that can't get anything out to the bins. So we're looking for volunteers, to kind of, once we have all my names got so far, who those individuals are, we're asking for that population, let us know so we get this list together, and then we'll come to their home with the volunteers, help them move their stuff to where it's got to go. And then the other part of this is I'm looking at areas right now that I want to focus on. We might shut down a road or two, like, hey, let's get out here. That's a community. It won't be our right of ways that the city maintains. It'll be areas that we can't get to sometimes, or not right of ways. They might be on the margin where it's private property and city property. I'm trying to talk to those business owners they don't maintain their stuff too well about helping us out. We got a lot of businesses, I think, they've been calling Mark and Patrick, they want to help out too. We're gonna pressure wash some of the sidewalks downtown, some things we haven't done in a long time, just to work on the how the city looks. So, and a couple more things we're gonna do as far as eventually, like maybe do the volunteer, um, like a foundation or an organization or a group of people, they manage the street. And I don't mean cutting all out, I mean, but you just be riding by, that's your street, you kind of grab the trash real fast that might be out there while we do the big part, the heavy lifting. So we're gonna put out some guys on this next week and still trying to fine tune some stuff that I want to get accomplished during that month time period. And those big day cleanups will be on the weekends. So like we might come out on a Saturday. Like I know some of y'all have been with police a couple of times. I remember some of y'all faces would get out there, kind of walk the neighborhoods and pick up trash, stuff like that. And once again, we might have some senior people, some disabled people who don't even not on Facebook, they don't know what's going on. So, us walking through the neighborhood that day might be a great thing for them to help them out. I mean, we got a lot of senior people that just don't come outside. So that's kind of the goal, is kind of to grab that group. At the same time, I'm trying to pull some of our youth in that are not behaving well right now. We got a lot of stuff going on in that area too, to get them to do a little more community service. So that's another part of this. We did the basketball thing earlier this year, so a lot of them are going to come out as well to help out. Just bringing the community together on a common purpose and a common goal. I understand, like I said, we're not trying to do or leave our job. Like I say, Public Works, if y'all can't see it, they got a whole new scheme this year. And you really see it when the grass starts growing. We got, I think, 3 additional cut crews. We're doing the spraying now. We edging up at the same time, so weeding, edging every time we cut. It won't be like a cut the grass and come weed eat 2 months later. It's all gonna be done at the same time. So you're gonna really see that on especially our major right of ways. But we'll put information on the cleanup, because I know it's still a little bit confusing right now. Because I want to get the organization together, just kind of adopt a highway, or adopt a neighborhood, you know, adopt a house. Like I'm saying, we got some of our sisters need some help. Just kind of check on them, form a relationship, and just stop by. Like some of the people do it now. They go by every weekend and check on somebody elderly. They might clean the trash cans out for them, cut the grass, things like that. But just get the community help in the community. Just all volunteer. Not nothing anybody got to do. And they hope we can build on this later on and do other things. Like I say, I feel like when Sergeant Sanders, when we brought Sergeant Sanders back, there was a lot of communication that wasn't there before. So, and we had some good conversations, like people I never talked to since I've been here. I was kind of talking to. So I want to keep building on that, because it's a great opportunity to build on that and to have those conversations. Like, watch my house, because what's going on. So if you don't know your neighbor, you don't know your neighbor. So, yes, sir.
Will they be being old time?
You always put these difficult problems on me. We already know we got a problem disposing of the tires. Mr. Smart down here, he's working that. We're trying to figure out what to do with these tires. We had some ideas that fell through from last year. I go ahead and say I thought I was gonna be able to cut them up and do some else with them, but then they got the metal in them, and all these things kept coming up in EPA, and I just lost that battle. I got tired, but we are going back again, try again this year to figure out what we do with these tires. But I will ask that question today, and we'll make a post on it this week about what we're gonna do with the tires. We're gonna
know place that used to be an album, you chip them, got 35 thick that system to chip their tires.
So can you chip them up?
Never had it built, that's been 30 years.
But I think now though, because of the materials in the tire, you can't do that no more. My understanding. I would love to chip them up and paint them. Like I told you, they came on me hard about that.
Yeah. If they'd have a designated place, yeah, the city do the same. It clean this place, clean this whole county.
Who paying $1 for the tire?
The city. City pay it, and the county pay it.
Oh, you bring me a tire and give you $1?
I think it's mandatory for the technical league, 3 tires for.
Yeah, but let me go back. So you saying I'm giving you $1 and not go dispose of the tire? That's what you saying? For the citizens?
have some work to do it.
Yeah. But
But it is,
no, I totally agree with you. So like I said, I was trying to cut them up and turn them into motion. Just paint them because I've been through a lot of ideas. Like just throw it in the the cost of cement. I was asking, can that not be, something we can put in the ground? We've been looking. We've been asking like, what can we do? I know some cities do recycle that stuff. I don't know how they're doing it legally, but it goes back to they payment road. I just can't figure out how they do it. I mean, I've been,
they shut down. Y'all can call
yeah,
they still doing it. How,
yeah, that'll be good. That'll be, yes. And let me say this: as we on record right now to the citizens watching, there's no need to do any illegal dumping. Like I said, you will contact us. Just just contact us. Contact our public works department, especially with these beds. I mean, I said numerous times, you gotta put them on the side of the road. Just, let us know. Everything got a cost to it. We got some built-in, a built-in surplus right now. Where you can kind of put toward that, but help us keep Waycross clean. I seen 2 beds today. That drove in. Just call us. I mean, let us know. Yeah, come get the bed. That's something you can recycle a little bit if people don't know, and we'll get rid of it. But just dump it on the side of the road. It is killing us right now. And there's no need to do that. And even with those illegal sites we have in the woods, those sites are monitored. As everybody know, those sites are monitored. Being transparent, I'm gonna raise the prices on those illegal dump sites. So you get caught, that is on you. Just want everybody to know that up front. So, but you can call us first and we're with you on get rid of your stuff. The bins, that's what all this is for. Do it that way. So don't put that out. Anybody else? Other comments? Mark, you got them?
I will say, one for the developers here, keep in mind the land bank, we do have a couple properties there that are vacant lots that are ready to build on. You can petition to get those from the land bank. So that's a good idea. And then also, just reiterating to the realtors, if you have somebody that wants to look at a house and they have a plan, our door's always open. We'll talk to them and we'll make sure that we get something in line that they can buy that house, and we'll give them a chance to work on it and fix it. So.
Or industrial properties downtown. Same,
Right.
same concept. Right. All right, we're on the room. Everybody good? Hey, thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for watching. Like I said, we're gonna be more consistent with these meetings. We're gonna try to schedule them at least at a minimum twice a month, and then we will have some type of follow up. If there's anything but a summary of what was discussed, kind of like I don't want to do too much because we don't have like a whole board committee type thing with this right now. But at least you'll see what we discussed. We'll try to keep knocking that list down each meeting. So moving forward. And with that, thank you for coming. And we'll stand by right now for any questions which I had that y'all want to say online, especially with Nancy, and kind of go from there.